Well guys, it finally happened. After what seemed like an eternity of a consistent hovering media spotlight over Buffalo's former captain, and a side of drama to go along with it, we have ourselves a trade that came about as a result. In this video, we're going to discuss what led to the trade, the details of it, what Eichel had to say about his situation to Elliotte Friedman, and the overall outlook moving forward for both teams involved. Now, before we get started, I'd like to quickly mention that this video is sponsored by MyBookie for when you want to bet with the best. And with that, here are my thoughts on the Jack Eichel trade. In the early morning hours of November 4th, 2021, a little more than 6 years after the Buffalo Sabres drafted him in 2015, second overall, Jack Eichel was traded. After spewing his frustration with the organization in countless interviews and on ice at times, the forward finally got his wish and was shipped out to Sin City. One could say that Eichel's situation bore a certain uniqueness to it, meaning it was unlike anything that we've typically seen throughout the hockey world. For one, during the Pegula era of ownership, the Sabres have been mediocre at best. Therefore, throughout Eichel's tenure as a Sabre, he endured watching his team miss the postseason on 6 different occasions, as they have the longest current drought league-wide. After watching his team trying to rebuild time after time with no such luck, Eichel was recently forced to the sidelines last season due to injury, only to watch his team tie the longest losing streak of 18 games in the modern era. But after the Sabres' disastrous campaign last season, which in turn granted them yet another first overall pick, the level of discourse between Buffalo and their star player was finally revealed, as Eichel then hinted towards his intentions of being traded elsewhere by saying last May, quote, "I want to be ready for next season, wherever that may be," end quote. But as ominous as those words were, it wouldn't be as simple or as easy to move Eichel as spectators seem to believe. As a forward who has been nursing an injury since last March, has been suffering from a herniated disc in his neck which previously complicated his overall situation. Since Eichel was wanting an artificial disc replacement surgery, which is a type of surgery that has yet to be performed on an NHL player, the request seemed to further the evident rift between the captain and his organization. Therefore, as the 2021-2022 NHL season commenced, many believed that an Eichel trade would be materializing sometime before the trade deadline. And in blockbuster fashion, Eichel was traded to one team that had been at the forefront all along with the New York Rangers, Anaheim Ducks, Los Angeles Kings, and later on the Calgary Flames. The Vegas Golden Knights were always viewed as a possible contender. The Knights, who waved goodbye to Marc-Andre Fleury during the offseason, were looking to make some room for reportedly a top center. And as early as the season still is, Vegas has demonstrated an overall need for depth in the top 6. Riddled with injuries as of late, the Knights haven't had the start that they'd wished for. And despite landing Eichel, however, if he were to get the surgery, say in November, he wouldn't be able to make his debut as a Golden Knight until the latter part of the regular season, presumably. Since it is Las Vegas that we're talking about, Golden Knights fans are still going to be betting that their team will bounce back before Eichel is once again healthy. And there's nothing more appropriate than gambling in Sin City. When I gamble, I'm always looking for a way to get an edge. But at MyBookie, they double your first deposit, so you can start with a leg up. Use my promo code AlyssaHope, sign up now, claim your first deposit bonus with MyBookie, and use the extra funds to kickstart your winning season. This weekend, lay the points with Arizona as they continue streaking in San Francisco. And with 2 top 10 offenses, the Titans and the Rams are going toe-to-toe on Sunday night. You can safely smash the over at MyBookie. Don't take my word for it. Head to MyBookie and sign up now using promo code AlyssaHope to get your money doubled and start winning today. Remember, good friends, don't let friends win alone. So have your buddies use your referral link so you'll be eligible to receive a 250% bonus on their first deposit. Plus, it's unlimited to redeem, so all of your friends can join the party at MyBookie. Bet anything, anywhere, anytime with MyBookie. And also, one more thing I just wanted to mention, Eichel did comment later on in his Spit and Chicklets interview that he did separately, that he did say that he would stay with the Sabres if they agreed to the surgery that he wanted. But in my opinion, due to what I already said in the video, I think that the Sabres already had made their decision at that point that they were going to stick with their guns and go ahead and trade Eichel and get the best that they could, hypothetically the best trade package available. So just to clear that up. So finally, after that, let's take a look at the trade itself. It was no real secret that Kevyn Adams was looking for a roster player, a prospect, a first-round draft pick, and possibly more. But if we're keeping it plain and simple, along those lines at least, the GM pretty much stuck to his guns. But even though he is injured and won't be game ready for months on end, the return for the former Sabres captain, Alex Tuch, the roster player that went to Buffalo, won't be game ready presumably until January himself. So there's also that to consider. So Jack Eichel and a third-round pick go to Vegas. In turn, Buffalo gets Tuch, Peyton Krebs, a 2022 first-round pick, and a 2023 third-round pick. All in all, the consensus has been that Buffalo was slighted and that they could have gotten more for their superstar player. But don't just take it from me, but also from Sabres superfan Melody Martin herself, who had this to say about the trade.
Vegas, what they gave up was really not a lot for a player of his caliber. Now, obviously, the injury aspect of it is kind of what reduces trade value to this point. They always say that if you get the best player in the trade, you won the trade.
Also asked you all what you thought in a poll, and an overwhelming 72% said that the Vegas Golden Knights won this trade. After the trade news itself broke, some details were revealed from Eichel himself during an interview with NHL insider Elliot Friedman. Contrary to popular belief, the forward went on to reveal in the sit-down that he had went to management and requested a trade before the 2020-21 season even commenced, meaning that Eichel essentially had already made up his mind about wanting out of Buffalo prior to his injury even occurring, which completely has tarnished the belief that the difference in opinion surrounding his surgery is what put the nail in the coffin per se. As we can all attest to, his interview last May wasn't the first time that Eichel had come out and said controversial things about his own organization, meaning that the player and management relationship was strained at best long before his neck issue even came about. Looking ahead, it may be time that really dictates who won this trade in the end, as both Tuch and Eichel will be out of commission for quite some time. As for Peyton Krebs, who will be reporting to the Rochester Americans, it's looking like, after 0 points produced after 9 NHL games this season, the forward will be fine-tuning his game in hopes of getting a call-up. And for Buffalo fans all around, there has to be a bittersweet sigh of relief now that their disgruntled former captain has finally been dealt elsewhere.
And the team that I think he'll be traded to, I for a while I thought the Ducks, I really did. I thought Anaheim was it, but I don't know, now I'm kind of leaning a little bit towards Vegas. I think they might be realizing they're really struggling right now, and I think they might be a little bit more desperate to get Eichel. And I mean, considering the success that they had, they never missed the playoffs before. And I watched their game last night to Toronto. They lost 4-0, and it's a pretty bad look right now. They have yet to score on the power play in the season. So yeah, I think they need him probably the most.